sports.
We are the fourth. We are Minnesota.
It's a new city and a new opponent tonight as the Twins head to Cleveland to try to stop a 5-game losing streak. They'll take on an Indians team that is dead last in the division and way back in the wild card race too. So a big opportunity for the Twins to try to take advantage. Welcome inside Progressive Field on a beautiful Friday night. I'm Jamie Hirsch. This trip to Cleveland could be just what the Twins need to turn their losing streak into a winning streak. Let's set the stage for this 3-game weekend series. Paul Molitor and company are happy to put Toronto behind them after a forgettable series there. Nothing went right for the Twins as the Blue Jays got their first 4-game sweep over the Twins ever. And now the Twins return to divisional play, which has suited them well lately. A winning record overall against the Central, and they're 4-2 against Cleveland this year. There's no such thing as home field advantage for the Indians this season, who had just one win in their last 7-game homestand. A new homestand begins for Cleveland tonight. The Twins will try to put this losing streak behind them, and they've got Mike Pelfrey, a good guy on the mound, to do it. He'll try to give them a similar start to his last one, and Dick and Jack will discuss whether Pelfrey is back on track tonight.
Is presented by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by Jeep. Find your summer of adventure with great deals at the Jeep Summer Clearance event.
It's a beautiful Friday night in Cleveland, and tonight the Indians and Twins will open up a 3-game series. Twins will get their first look at right-hander Cody Anderson. Mike Pelfrey will go for the Minnesota Twins. And it is a gorgeous night in Cleveland. Glad you're with us for Twins baseball. Dick Bramer along with Jack Morris. 2 months ago tonight, Mike Pelfrey picked up a win. He was 5-2. He was among the league leaders in earned run average. Since then, both he and the Twins have struggled. But the Twins and Mike Pelfrey hoping that his last start was a harbinger of things to come.
Yeah, and if you're going to build off of that and get on some kind of roll, you have to add from your last start. Mike Pelfrey pitched a very good game for the Twins his last start. He went 8 innings, got deep into it. The Twins didn't win the game. They ended up going 11 against the Mariners and lost the game. But Mike himself pitched very well. It'll be good to watch him out there tonight. Maybe he's the guy that can get on a roll and follow up his last start with another good one here tonight.
This is the second trip for the Twins here in Cleveland. Back in May, they were playing really good baseball, and Torrey Hunter in particular carried the Twins to a series win.
Well, Torrey's the kind of guy that can do that. He had a great series here in Cleveland. It was a little earlier in the year, and Torrey was a little fresher, but that doesn't mean anything. This guy's still going out and doing all his work. Paul Molitor has rested him a bit lately, but he should be fresh here tonight in Cleveland.
Twins have dropped back to the 500 mark. They'd like to spring forward back above the 500 mark with a win here tonight and a series win in Cleveland. We'll be back with Game 1 between the Twins and the Tribe in a moment.
In Cleveland. Today, the debate around Twins territory is if Minnesota can get back in the wild card race. Minnesota had become a serious playoff candidate before the break, but they're now slipping in the polls with under 2 months to go. The Twins will be in attack mode tonight as they try to stop a spiral down the standings and get their playoff campaign back on track in Cleveland. And what better place could there be for the Twins to do that as they open up a 3-game series here against an Indian team that is really struggling. And they made a trade today to look forward to the future. Guy who's been a pest to everybody in the American League, Michael Bourne, traded back to the Atlanta Braves along with Nick Swisher. Chris Johnson will come to Cleveland. He won't be here tonight, but he will be available starting tomorrow night. And so the Cleveland Indians in rebuild mode as we are in early August, while the Twins are in regroup mode, having fallen back to the 500 mark. And Paul Molitor with a winning record against the American League Central this season, and that's been one of the big issues for the Indians. They are 15-28 against American League Central opponents. The Menards batting order for the Twins. Brian Dozier leading things off. Joe Bauer second. Miguel Sano moving up to third. And then Trevor Plouffe, Torrey Hunter, Eddie Rosario, Aaron Hicks, Kurt Suzuki, and Eduardo Escobar. And everybody getting their first look at right-hander Cody Anderson.
Cody's making his 8th start and career appearance. He's never started or pitched against the Twins. He's 2-3 for the year. And in his last time out, he went 6 2/3 inning in a defeat against the Oakland A's. So the Twins know that he's a guy that throws a lot of sinkers. Hopefully he can get it up in the zone a little bit. That's when he gets in trouble. His secondary pitch is a changeup.
Dozier in the box. Twins wearing red jerseys for just the 4th time in history. Starting pitcher gets to pick these things, and Mike Pelfrey decided that the Twins would try to break a 5-game losing streak by breaking out the Reds. 1-0 to Dozier. Pulled foul. Gorgeous night, 74 degrees. And we expect gorgeous weather all weekend long.
Yeah, it was a breezy day here in Cleveland, and the wind rarely blows in from center field at Progressive Field here, but it did all day today.
Dozier drives one foul, 1-2.
You were mentioning that out in left field, when you came into the ballpark, the wind was really blowing through those gates out there.
Yeah, with just a slight exaggeration. It was kind of hard to even stand up out there. The wind blowing in from center field and then doing just about a 180 and blowing out to left. So we'll see what that does to any batted balls hit in the air to left field. Dozier pretty good at that. Grounds it foul, and it's still 1-2.
A couple back-to-back changeups from Anderson. Ryan a little bit out in front. He's pulling the ball foul there. Cleveland playing him straight away, both in the infield and in the outfield.
Anderson started out tremendously in his big league career. In his first 4 starts, an ERA of under 1, 0.89, but now the last few starts haven't gone so well. And down and away, 2-2.
There you see the percentage of changeups that Anderson's thrown. He's doing pretty good with the strikes.
And a fouled back, and Dozier having the type of at bat you like to see from your leadoff hitter against a pitcher who you've never seen before.
Yeah, work the count a little bit, make him throw a few pitches, let everybody on the bench take a peek at him. See if they're going to maybe see anything from his delivery that can be to their advantage.
On the ground to the shortstop Lindor. And close play, just barely getting Dozier. And that'll be the first out with no hint of an appeal from the Twins dugout. 1 down. Northland Ford defense for the Indians, and you won't recognize some of these names. Michael Brantley in left, Tyler Holt in center, Lonnie Chisenhall, the erstwhile third baseman, is out at right. Third base now manned by Giovanni Urshela, Francisco Lindor, Jose Ramirez, and Jerry Sands, the infielder, with Jan Gomes behind the plate. Here's Bauer with 1 down in the Twins' first. Down and away, ball 1. Tyler Holt getting a chance to play some with Lindor, the top prospect in the Indian organization, getting a chance to play it short. Now a strike on the outside corner, 1-1.
Yeah, they're going to go with a little bit of the youth movement. The first baseman came over from the Dodger organization, Jerry Sands, but pretty much a minor leaguer there. So they've got a lot of young players.
Pulled on the ground to Sands, and he'll make the play to the bag, 2 down. And that'll bring up Miguel Sano. First time for Sano in this ballpark, of course. And first time as a number 3 place hitter.
I was going to say, I don't recall that. He's hit cleanup quite a few times.
Started 6th, like 1 game there, 1 game 5th, and then every other game in the cleanup spot. Twins want to get his bat in the lineup in the first inning, with or without somebody on base. This time it's without. Ball one.
Paul Molitor has really shuffled the lineup. He's had the same cast of characters out there predominantly here for about the whole second half, but he's changed the lineup almost daily.
1-1. Sano with a double last night on a pop fly, and then he hit what looked to be a double and had that bid for a hit denied. Swing and a miss, 1-2.
Kevin Pillar made an unbelievable catch off Miguel Sano last night up in Toronto. Here's another look at that.
One of the best catches of the year. 1-2 to Sano, and a changeup. Swinging strike three, and a 1-2-3 first for Cody Anderson. Season, many people thought this Indians team was poised to get to the World Series, and it's been a disastrous year, and now a lot of the players that Francona and the Indians were counting on are hurt or gone. Jason Kipnis is on the disabled list, and so it's very much become a rebuilding year. The Menards batting order for the Indians: Jose Ramirez leading things off, then Francisco Lindor, Michael Brantley, Carlos Santana, Jan Gomes, Lonnie Chisenhall, Jerry Sands, Giovanni Urshela, and Tyler Holt.
They're going to be facing big Mike Pelfrey. Mike's making his 21st start of the year. Coming off a really good start his last time. 8 solid innings in which he pitched deep into a ball game, so hopefully he can build off of that.
Strike one to Ramirez.
Ramirez is just 22 years old. He spent a little bit of time in 2013 and 14 with the Tribe.
Strike two. What we saw from Pelfrey in his start against the Mariners, gave up just 4 hits, 102 pitches, 63 strikes, only walked 1, got a couple of ground ball double plays. Just missed the corner. Had a good start here in Cleveland in early May. 7 innings, couple runs allowed, and a decent start in April at Target Field against the Indians. 5 innings, 3 hits, just 1 run, but did walk 4, and now 2-2. Twins hope to do well against the Indians from here on out, because roughly a quarter of their games the rest of this year are with Cleveland. 13 of the 54 games. It's a drive to center, and Hicks back and over, playing the carom, and it's an opening double for Ramirez. And in just 179, Ramirez paddles one off the fence and center.
Pitch right there is a fastball up, and the mistakes keep continuing for the Twins pitching staff. If you're going to throw that ball there, you're going to have to throw it about 95 to 98 miles an hour and get him to chase.
And now Lindor, corner infielders up, and the ball bunted at, foul, 1 strike.
Yeah, Lindor, another one of the young guys. He's only 21 years old, out of Caguas, Puerto Rico. He's a high draft pick, selected in the first round, 8th overall pick in 2011. So the Indians really were high on this kid when they drafted him, obviously.
1 strike to Lindor. Good bunt, and Plouffe fires to first, 1 down. Sacrifice advancing Ramirez to second. And that'll bring up Michael Brantley. Northland Ford defense for the Twins. Eddie Rosario is in left. Aaron Hicks is in center and Torrey Hunter in right. Plouffe, Escobar, Dozier, and Mauer the infielders. Suzuki behind the plate. There are 3 established big league hitters in the middle of this Cleveland lineup tonight. Brantley, Santana, and Gomes, and I'm not willing to grant Chisenhall established status yet. They're hitting consecutively. Everybody else is just kind of a let's wait and see and hope that they develop type of a guy. Runner at third, 1 down, infield back. And Brantley chops it up the line, foul.
Yeah, and of all the hitters in the lineup, I would say that Michael Brantley is the most professional of all the hitters. He's the guy that you got to be careful with. You got an out and a base open. It's early in the ball game. Certainly you want to establish command of your pitches and get ahead, but you don't want to throw this guy a cookie either.
Very tough guy to strike out. More likely that he might pop the ball up, but the Twins are basically conceding the run here in the first inning with Ramirez at third and 1 out. One and 1 to Michael Brantley. And Pelfrey doesn't make the play. Runner goes. Now the runner comes home, and it'll be a double play. A double play with the runner at third. Ramirez hesitating. The Twins got the out at first, and the Indians may challenge the slide at the plate, contending that Ramirez may have touched the plate before the second tag was put on by Suzuki. But Ramirez froze because he thought Pelfrey might be able to make the play there.
Yeah, you see that Mike kind of dove after it. It got by him. Escobar made a play to first.
And there will be no challenge, and the Indians come up empty-handed in the first on a base running blunder. And Pelfrey faces just 3 men. they had missed a golden opportunity to get the first run of this game and series. And now Trevor Plouffe will lead off the second against Cody Anderson. Over the inside corner, strike one.
Well, you had mentioned that the Twins were conceding the run, and had that ball not been kind of deceived a little bit there by the base runner, he thought Mike Pelfrey might be able to field it, and that froze him.
Plouffe with a short fly to left. And Brantley is there, one away.
Big break for the Twins right there, getting a double play.
That'll bring up Torrey Hunter. Had a great first series here in Cleveland. Hoping to have a good one here again. Torrey's average is down to 245. You look at the Twins lineup, and among the regular players, and that's basically what the Twins are sending out there tonight: Dozier, Mauer, Sano, Plouffe, Hunter, Rosario, Hicks, Suzuki, and Escobar. The first option at each position, and now a quick short fly ball to left again. And Anderson has a couple quick outs. That'll bring up Rosario. There are three hitters among the regular position players for the Twins hitting over 270, and they are the three least experienced hitters. Rosario will hit next. He's hitting 272. Miguel Sano and Aaron Hicks came into the game hitting 277. Everybody else is hitting below that. Mauer, the next highest batting average, at 264. So it's an unexpected slump for the Twins in more ways than one. A lot of people thought this team was going to be among the league leaders in runs scored, but then the struggles of Danny Santana and Kenny Vargas and others. Well, but now here we are in August, and the guys who are hitting are the rookies, the guys you'd expect to struggle a little bit.
I guess the best way to put this in perspective is the Twins don't have any 300 hitters, and I would say they average around 250 is where the batting average is, which means they're going to get a hit every once out of 4 at bats. We'll have to continue that story.
A very quick top of the second for Cody Anderson.
Aggressive field. I'm Jamie Hurst. Paul Mulder joked before the game that you hope Mike Pelfrey showed up to pitch tonight, not Brian Dozier. This was the scene in Toronto on Wednesday. Mike Pelfrey doing his best to keep things loose. He suited up as Brian Dozier, and he mimicked his stretches, his warm-ups. He followed him all throughout the pregame stretch, and Pelfrey told me afterward that he just wanted to know what it felt like to be Brian Dozier. But guys, as good as Dozier is, I think the Twins want Mike Pelfrey to be Mike Pelfrey tonight, right?
Well, let's hope so. The Mike Pelfrey who pitched like he did in his last start against Seattle. Delivers strike one to Carlos Santana. Yan Gomes and Lonnie Chisenhall will follow. Santana with a big swing and a foul back, 0-2. Santana's average is down. Yan Gomes' average is down. This Cleveland lineup has struggled all year long to score runs. Now, injuries have been a part of it, and when they were going good offensively, Jason Kipnis was in the middle of it. Now he's out with a bad shoulder.
Yeah, it's just all gone south for Cleveland. Their pitching staff is a very good pitching staff, but when you don't get a lot of run support, it's hard to win ball games.
And prior to the trading deadline, they were contacted by many teams about releasing some of the good young pitching that they've got. And the Indians realize that as bad as this year has been, they can get things turned around fairly quickly, as long as they don't do anything destructive with their starting rotation.
Yeah, the rotation with Trevor Bauer and Carlos Carrasco, Corey Kluber, the Cy Young Award winner, Danny Salazar throwing balls at around 100 miles an hour some days. They've got some good young arms in this rotation here in Cleveland.
2-2 to the leadoff man in the second, and Santana dribbles it foul. Bauer will start tomorrow for the Indians. Sports Illustrated had the Indians going to the World Series this year. And I don't think that's going to happen. And of course, people back home, at least most of them, are just concerned about the Twins situation and the slide that has dropped them back to the 500 mark. Santana takes ball 3.
Well, Mike Pelfrey's elevated a bunch of his pitches so far in this game. He's going to have to try to lower his sights a little bit, get the ball down in the zone.
Full count. The leadoff man doubled in the first. Pelfrey got ahead of Santana, 0-2. And a foul back.
This would be a great situation if he could command that split finger of his to throw it, because it's a fastball situation. You can see the grip. He's got it at least initially starting off with that split finger. He needs to keep it down in the zone.
Popped up. Plouffe across the line near the tarp. Has no play. Wind might have helped push that off the field of play. Twins at one point were 11 games above the 500 mark first day after the All-Star break, and they were 10 games, 50 and 40, but now 54 and 44. And we were all impressed with the Blue Jays in their 4-game sweep over the Twins. Another 3-2 to Santana. He drives it to center, but in the direction of Aaron Hicks. A long first out, 1 away. But you've got to try to put things a little bit in perspective. The Blue Jays just kind of floated around 500 for months and months and months. And now they're the hot team in baseball, 6 games above 500, riding a 5-game winning streak. All the Twins would need to do is, you got to win the first one, obviously. You put together a 5-game winning streak or something similar to it, and you're right back in the middle of it.
It does wonders for your attitude to have a couple wins in a row. It doesn't matter who you're playing to get back in that column. But you're absolutely right. This game has got a lot of balance, I guess is one way of saying it. Teams are pretty even throughout the game of baseball. There's not any one great team, although I think we'd agree, at least at this point, Toronto's playing as good as anybody. And any given night, anybody can beat anybody. So you've got to go out there and play solid baseball. Paul Mahler still believes that the Twins have a winning streak in them this year. And hopefully it'll be an extended winning streak.
When the Twins were here in early May, at one point after winning the second game here, they had won 9 out of 10 games. And it was a streak that got them from a couple of games below 500 to 5 games over. Mauer gets the second hop, and he'll get to the bag ahead of Gomes. 2 down. No, it's been hard to watch. It hasn't been pleasant at all, but the Twins are at 500, and as Paul Molitor tried to put in perspective, you know, would you have taken that on opening day? A 500 record here on August 7th, and I think most Twins fans would have, but it's just how they got there that's been so disturbing.
Yeah, and I was asking you off the air today, what would you rather have, a good first half or a good second half? And I guess it's always better to finish strong.
There's Chisenhall with 2 down. And a base hit up the middle, a 2-out single for the right fielder. 2 hits in the game, both going to Cleveland, and that'll bring up Jerry Sands. Sands getting a chance to play some at first base as the Indians are rebuilding as we speak.
Yeah, Sands has had a couple cups of coffee with the Dodgers, and then a little bit of time last year with Tampa Bay in the big leagues, coming from Tampa organization. He signed as a free agent minor league contract. So.
Down and away, ball 1. Indians can steal some bases, but their principal base stealer was just traded today. Michael Bourne dealt to the Atlanta Braves. Chisenhall just 1 steal in 2 tries. Kipnis on the disabled list has 11 steals. So really the lone big base stealing threat would be Brantley, who's 11 out of 12. 2-0. It's a busted bat into short center. Hicks coming in, and he glides in to make the catch. That ends the inning. And Aaron Hicks will lead off the 3rd for the Twins. Sore over his head, and he got into one last night himself.
Yeah, he hit a home run off Mark Burley, and he was saying afterwards that he didn't think he got this ball, but the ball seems to really carry with the roof open at Rogers Center, and Aaron was in on the action.
Yeah, the roof's open here at Progressive Field too.
Sure is.
Down and away, ball 1. Hicks, Suzuki, and Escobar. Twins still don't have a base runner against Cody Anderson. Started the year at AA, went to AAA. Now he finds himself in the bigs. 1-0. And now 2-0.
We got ourselves a pretty nice Friday night crowd here in Cleveland. I was told that Progressive Field employees are here in full force. I wonder if Flo's around.
I would think they'd have her throw out the first pitch.
Yeah.
Popped up behind third. Chased by Urshela. And there is no play. They're selling dollar dogs here. You got fireworks after the game. Now my son reports that here at Progressive Field they have, like they do at Target Field, a limit, but the limit of the Dollar Dogs is 6.
That's almost like Nathan's of New York.
Yeah, the Coney Island 4th of July thing where they, I won't say eat, ingest, shove down 60 some at a time. 2-2 to Hicks. So you know me, I gave my son $6 and said, have at it, you know, enjoy.
Treat yourself to the best dinner you can.
Let Dad buy you dinner tonight. 2-2 to Hicks, leading off the Twins' third. And a liner to center field. Hicks is the first Twins base runner. You can now tweak your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag NorthDataStrongFan and you might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. Jamie Hirsch, Jack Morris, Dick Bramer here in Cleveland. Twins trying to end a 5-game losing streak. There's a couple bucks worth of hot dogs right there.
Little guy eyeballing it there, Dad. You going to share?
Here's Suzuki. Suzuki with a bunt. It'll advance Hicks. 1 away. So each team with an early inning sacrifice, which ought to tell you a little bit about where their respective lineups have been in terms of producing runs.
Francisco Lindor got the ball down and moved over Jose Ramirez for the Tribe, and now Kurt Suzuki does the same thing.
And again, if Escobar or Dozier produce the run here, it's just 1 run. And Twins would prefer a 3-run home run, but in the absence of those, you get a run. 3 different guys contributed to the run, and everybody feels like they had a part in it in getting the first run of the game. And more importantly, and Twins haven't played good baseball for a long time, that's what you need to start with, building the confidence across the roster that you're playing good baseball. And it might be just a snapshot, 1 inning, but if you start executing and do the fundamentals in 1 inning, then maybe it can carry over to some others. 1 strike to Escobar.
It can be a challenging game.
All the way.
The longer you play it, the more you'll realize that nothing comes easy. You might go through periods where it seems like it's easy and everything goes your way, but in your careers, if you play it long enough, you're going to have to make adjustments. Everybody has to. And that, in a way, that's what makes it such a wonderful game.
Lindor sneaking behind Hicks. 0-2 to Escobar. You know, and I've watched a lot of baseball. You played a lot of baseball, and you've seen probably as much as you participated in as an active player. You know, mentioned that when the Twins were here in Cleveland, at one point they'd won 9 out of 10. And winning a game seems so easy. Your starter gives you a chance. The bullpen does its job. You get a couple of hits here or there. Boom, you won a ball game. Now you go through what the Twins are going through, and it almost seems like uphill into the wind every day, you know?
And what's the biggest difference? It's your mindset. It's your attitude. When you're winning, you're confident, and it radiates around the entire clubhouse. And when you're losing, everybody's questioning their ability.
Speed pitch, swing and a miss, 2 down now.
There's that changeup we were talking about from Cody Anderson. Good movement when he keeps it down.
I beg your pardon? Is that a foul tip? Escobar still up there. I thought that was strike 3. We got some confusion here.
Yeah, everybody's going to come in there.
Well, I had it as strike 3, and the home plate umpire, DJ Rayburn, says the count is now 2-2.
Wonder if you can challenge this. Go back to New York to find out.
Have a pitch by pitch. Well, we have that available in the truck. We could clarify it, but umpires are trying to figure this out.
If they're all not paying attention, they don't get it right.
So now they're actually going to review this. Yeah,
they don't know. None of them know. That's embarrassing.
DJ Rayburn's a home plate umpire. Mike Everett is the crew chief. or I'm sorry, Mike Everett's the first base umpire, Kerwin Danley and Rob Drake. And this is a bit embarrassing that none of the 4 umpires is certain as to what the count is. On our scoreboard, I thought we had it, what, a 1-2 count, I believe.
And a foul tip into the glove would be strike 3.
So they are going to ask New York to count pitches for them. And they're talking about the foul ball and an umpire review to establish whether Escobar struck out or not. And now they're moving out of the way because Cody Anderson wants to try to stay loose.
This might be a first.
And we are told now by our able staff in the truck that the count is 2-2. So apparently we had it wrong. I had it wrong anyway. I don't want to drag anybody else into this, but DJ Rayburn had the count right at 2-2. At least that's what we've been told by the truck.
Usually the hitter is the one that knows.
But as right as I've been on these replay things, I fully expect Escobar to somehow end up at first base at the end of this.
I promise you the pitcher would know, and if he's not screaming strike 3,
yeah,
which
right,
he's not.
Right, a good point.
You know, pitcher and the hitter, neither one of them really did anything out of the ordinary, so that would indicate that the count is 2-2.
2-2. Well, justice prevails.
I bet the umpires all pay more attention the rest of the game.
Well, a lighthearted moment here now that we've established that the count is 2-2. And now Escobar needs to get a hit to the outfield. Won't say with the extra strike, but with the renewed at bat. Get the Twins on the board. And he flips it foul. Off-speed pitch.
Earlier I was talking about the Twins and their batting average around 250, which equates to 1 hit out of 4 plate appearances, which is typical of a 9-inning game if you play the whole game. Sometimes you get 5. There's a lot of hits or a lot of walks. But that means there's 9 hits in the game for the offense. And if those hits aren't over the fence occasionally or in the gaps with base runners on, it's hard to score multiple runs in an inning. There's one right there.
Up the middle, and Escobar will drive in the first run of the game. A sharp ground ball single off the mound. Hicks scores from second base. The Twins sacrifice bunt works, and it's 1-0. Well, the American League this year is hitting .253, and the Twins are hitting .247, a little below the league average. That's a tough pitch down and away.
He went out and got it and was able to hit it up the middle where nobody was.
Meanwhile, I erased the strikeout out of Escobar's box in my score. There's Dozier with a drive to left field. Heading back is Brantley. It's halfway off the wall. Brantley plays the carom brilliantly, and it's a double for Dozier.
At the crack of the bat, Eduardo Escobar was off and running, and had that ball somehow got away from Brantley, he was going to be able to score easily, but Brantley did a good job. He knows that wall as good as anybody. Been out there for a while.
That angle, and then, you know, unlike target field where it's kind of a straight angle all the way out to center, there is an angle about 75 feet from the corner, and you've got to play it as well as Brantley did right there. The ball came right to his glove. You can see right to the right of the Pepsi sign as you're looking at it, and before the scoreboard itself starts, there's a little bit of an angle there. And Brantley on a ball hit about halfway up the fence. He's a bright guy. Maybe he's a geometry major. Played it perfectly. Now a good chance for the Twins and Mauer with 2 men in scoring position to keep adding on. That's been an issue too in this bad stretch of games. It won't be Mauer, it'll be Sano with a chance to add to the lead. Couple of singles, a double now, an intentional walk. For Dozier, his 29th double. He's got 3 triples and 23 home runs.
Well, the Twins will have them all loaded up for Miguel Sano. An opportunity here to break the game open. You can see that graphic right there. The fewest at-bats per extra base hit, Brian Dozier among the league leaders. When he hits it, it's typically an extra base hit.
55 extra base hits among the 105 hits. Here is Sano with a chance to break the game open. He struck out on a breaking ball down and away his first time up. Ball 1. And here is where Sano needs to display his patience. Make Anderson come to him. He did not do that in his first inning at bat. Down to a knee after a swing and a foul, 1-1.
We talked about Anderson's pitches. He's got a good sinker, a fastball that really dies at the end, and when his changeup is down, that also runs down. Those are basically his 2 pitches. He doesn't really have a third pitch.
Popped up, infield fly rule will be called. 2 down. And that'll leave a big inning up to Trevor Plouffe here. 1 on the board, 3 out there, and the veteran Plouffe had a couple of grand slams this year, hoping to at least get a base hit here, maybe score 2 more runs.
Now Trevor with 15 home runs, 59 RBI coming into today's game. He's among the Twins leaders in home runs. Maybe he can get into one here. You put a big crooked number on and you give your starting pitcher a lot of breathing room.
Trevor's been doing a nice job wearing out that right center field gap. He takes inside, ball 1. A couple of grand slams for Plouffe. Not a real good batting average, but this season the grand slams have come. 1 other hit with the bases loaded, 3 for 6. He takes one down the middle, 1-1. In the inning, 3 hits and a walk. So far, just 1 run. Down the line, and a fair ball into the corner. It'll score 2. Plouffe to second with a 2-run double, fair by inches, and it's 3-0.
Well, Miguel Sano failed to do the job, and Trevor Plouffe comes up and he's able to do the job. A double into the corner, 2 more runs scored. So the Twins capitalize here on a situation where they got runners out there. Plouffe, a nice easy swing, was able to keep that ball fair. It looked like it might start hooking foul, but right there on the line.
And now 2 more out there in scoring position for Hunter. Big 2-out, 2-run double for Plouffe. Swing and a miss. Torrey with a first pitch fly ball to left. His first time up. Plouffe with 46 extra base hits with 27 doubles. Dug out by Gomes. Now 2-1.
The Indian outfield is shading Torrey just a little bit to right field. Michael Brantley giving him a lot of line in left field, which indicates to me that they're going to try to pitch him away. Hope that he would go that direction.
2-1. And now 2-2. The impression I got from watching Torrey the last couple of years with Detroit, he was much better than he was as a younger player and hitting the ball to the opposite field. But what we've seen this year is he's much more apt to pull the ball.
Well, especially when he drives the ball. His home runs primarily has been to left field.
Toward the hole. Deep in the hole and through. 2 runs will score, and Hunter with a bleeder to left, and it's 5-0.
Well, there it is. The Twins were able to come through in the clutch with a couple key hits to drive in 4 runs and 2 at bats.
This is a seeing eye single.
Now you know where the story of that one came from?
No.
It's kind of like that Texas Leaguer. We got to write a whole book about phrases.
Inside baseball with Jack and Dick.
Base hit to left.
And that's going to be the end of the night for Cody Anderson. Been a weird inning with a disputed count. It looked like it might have been the second out of the inning, but Anderson retires just 8 men here tonight and faces 8 men in the 3rd inning alone. The Twins have opened it up with a 5-run inning. A big one by Trevor Plouffe. There haven't been as many hits as he would like, but the ones he's gotten have gone for extra bases.
Well, and that's just what I was talking about. Somebody in the lineup who's driving the ball. Now, Trevor's batting average is only around 250, 253 coming into the game. But his last 5 hits, you can see all for extra bases. And he's picking up RBIs and driving the ball all over the place.
And the Twins get into the Cleveland bullpen early with Adams coming out of the pen to try to get the final out of the 3rd inning. 5-0 Twins lead. Austin Adams coming in for the 17th time. And he will face Eddie Rosario with Hunter at first and 2 down. Fouled back by Rosario. He struck out on 3 pitches in the 2nd. Hunter pitches up and away, and so is the throw from Gomes. Torrey Hunter, age 40, with a stolen base.
Element of surprise. He got a very good jump. Yan Gomes got a very good throwing arm, but that was stolen off the pitcher Adams. Typical of how most bases are stolen. See Torrey with a good jump. He's about a third of the way before the ball is even getting close to crossing home plate.
Now they count 1-1 to Rosario with another runner in scoring position. Outside, 2-1. To left center field, slicing away from Holt, and that ball's going to hit the ground. A collision in left field. Brantley is collided with by Holt, and Rosario is safe at third, and Brantley is sitting down, getting a glancing blow from Tyler Holt. It's a triple for Rosario, a 6-run inning, and everybody's concerned about Michael Brantley, who appears to be okay.
Well, the Twins bat around this inning, put a big crooked number on the board. This ball just kept tailing away from the center fielder Holt. The wind might have had something to do with that. Ends up right in between. You could see that Brantley is hit with, I guess, his glove right in the jaw. And he has to get up and somehow get the ball in. By the time he does, Rosario's hustling over to third base with a triple.
With the back leg getting the bag. Here's Hicks, started this inning with a single to center. A drive to center. Holt going back, still going back, and he makes the catch to end the inning. Good one for the Twins as they put together a 6-run third inning.
Medica sounds the game. Torrey Hunter says that's just part of it.
The best teams in baseball go through little funks. I mean, there's not one team in baseball that didn't go through a funk, and maybe 2 or 3 of them. And the Royals have been through it. The Cardinals have been through it. Everybody's going to go through a funk. We're going through ours. Of course, it's been about 2 weeks, but we need to find a way to get out of it and play a little more small ball and try to create some runs and do the little things until we get to where all cylinders are clicking, pitching and hitting. And once we do that, I think we'll be fine.
That offensive funk is certainly over. 6 runs for Minnesota, and it's only the 3rd inning, guys.
Well, thank you, Jamie. You could probably, though, go back to the very end of May, and that's when it's been particularly obvious now because we talk so much about playing meaningful games in August, and the Twins haven't played well in August. Ball Ball hit to the right side. Dozier to his left. Into that slide and an errant throw pulling Bauer off the bag. Base hit for Giovanni Urshela leading off the third inning. But the team was 11 games above the 500 mark at the end of May. They beat the Blue Jays, had a 20-win May, then went 11-17 in June, 12-13 in July, and in August they're 1-5.
Well, we're almost talking sometimes, and we get a little. I know I do. I can't speak for you, but I still have that winning spirit inside of me, I guess, and it's hard to watch the series that we saw in Toronto, where it was really one-sided series. But with that in mind, there's still a lot of baseball left, and there can still be meaningful games, not only here in August, but in September. All it takes is a streak like you talked about. You win 5 in a row, and who knows where you are again.
The notion of playing meaningful games in August, and that's fine, but if you don't start winning some of those meaningful games, then you find yourself not playing meaningful games anymore. And that's the point you were making, that this is nice, and it would be even nicer to play meaningful games in September. Now with a 6-0 lead, 1-1 to Tyler Holt. The fact of the matter is, as much as Mike Pelfrey has reasserted himself this year as a major league starting pitcher, there isn't anybody in the Twins rotation who has handled prosperity as poorly as Mike has. That's up the line foul. The Twins many times this year have given him some early run support, only to see it get frittered away in the middle innings.
Yeah, and that's one thing that Mike could do a better job with, is that focus sometimes. He didn't have hardly any runs to work with his last time out, and therefore his focus was strong. He had to go out there every inning and concentrate not to give up a run. And it's one thing to have a big lead. Some pitchers have a tough time with big leads. They really do. They go out there, and before you blink, it's close again.
And there's a base hit to center. So the 8-9 batters start the bottom of the third inning with singles, and that'll bring up Ramirez. Join us August 16th for a Super America Not Whole Kids Day. The Twins taking on, I was going to say these Cleveland Indians, but by then they might look completely different as well. The first 5,000 fans 14 and under get a TC plush presented by Delta Airlines. Go to twinsbaseball.com/tickets and get your tickets today. Ramirez hammered a double off the center field fence his first time up, and now he takes ball one. Ramirez was sacrificed to third, and then was overwhelmed by confusion on a ground ball to Escobar. Ended up being thrown out at the plate for the third out of the inning. 1-1.
Back to your point about meaningful games, Dick, I think it's, when I look back, and I was fortunate enough to play quite a while in the big leagues. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 postseasons that I was fortunate enough to be a part of. And the one thing that really comes to mind, as Pelfrey throws another one, is that those 5 years, the season went by so fast because it was meaningful games in August and September. And the years when we struggled early in our career in Detroit and some of the other times, August became a drudgery. September was like, when will we see our families again? And that's what happens in baseball when you're playing and having fun and you're having a chance to win. It goes by like in a blink.
There's a strikeout of Ramirez, and we'll hesitate. Yep, Ramirez is in fact heading back to the dugout. We can't be sure after the Escobar at bat at the top of this inning. One down, and now Lindor, and Pelfrey gets a lot of ground ball double plays, and if he gets one here, he can escape this jam in the third.
This is Mike's first strikeout, and that was on the split finger.
Yep.
The ball really dived down, and maybe that's a good indication that he might start getting a feel for it. And I just hope he paid attention to that. That ball hit the plate in the dirt, and what was it? A strikeout. And I've talked to him personally about throwing that ball down, and that hitters will swing when they know it's a fastball count.
Fastball up and away.
But he needs a ground ball, like you said. He gets a lot of them. He gets a lot of double plays.
One and 0 to Lindor. Driven to right. And played on one hop by Hunter. The bases will be loaded with one out. And now Michael Brantley coming to the plate.
Well, Mike threw another ball over the middle. Lindor, who had a nice sacrifice bunt his first time, gets a swing this time, and he doesn't miss a fastball out over the plate. So 3 singles have loaded the bases, and now the heart of the lineup coming up for the Indians.
Brantley bounced into a curious double play. Hit a ground ball to Escobar, who retired Brantley at first, and then Mauer threw home to get Ramirez, who was late trying to score. Six nothing. The Indians have the right guys up to jump back into the game. Outside, ball 1. The ground ball double play, and as unusual as it was, that's exactly what it was in the first inning. The 25th turn behind Pelfrey this year.
Now, that would not be your conventional double play, but it goes in the books that way.
And a base hit to left. 4th hit of the inning. Urshela will score. Holt will be held at third.
Rosario doing a great job there of charging that ball. Third base coach Mike Sarbo has to hold the runner. He would have been dead at the plate. Good effort right there by Eddie Rosario to charge that ball and get rid of it quickly.
6 hits for the Indians. The Twins have 6 hits. But Cleveland has 4 singles already here in the third, and Santana coming up. You saw Rosario charging, as Jack said, and that might have helped keep Holt at third base. Indians run scoring a challenge this year, but they've jumped right back into a situation where Pelfrey's big lead is being threatened. Check swing. I think he went. And they appeal, no swing. 1-0.
Mike has thrown a lot of pitches around the same speed. He hasn't thrown anything real off speed. He doesn't have that good breaking ball today, so far anyway.
Needs something good to happen with Santana, the main power threat in this Cleveland lineup. 1-0. And now 2-0. Santana will walk. He will also strike out about once every 5 at bats, and he leads the team, having grounded into 14 double plays.
One of the things Neil Allen was working with Mike Pelfrey about in between starts the last time was keeping that shoulder in and not flying open. You see it in the last pitch. The reason that ball was away is because he flew that front shoulder open. He did it again on that pitch.
This has been so hard for anyone to figure out. This is a veteran pitcher who's pitched hundreds of innings in the big leagues. And if anyone should handle prosperity, you would think it would be a veteran who's been around for a while. And now Pelfrey's in danger of walking in a run. And it might be happening again here in the third. A strike, 3-1. Santana was ready to toss the bat away.
Earlier in the year, when Mike was on his real roll, his fastball was touching the mid-90s. And today it's been 92, 93. So he doesn't seem as though he's got that real hard fastball today.
3-1 to Santana. And a bases loaded walk. It's 6-2. Holt walks in from third base. And after being given a 6-0 lead, Pelfrey's retired just 1 of 6 batters. Neil Allen to the mound. And the batter will be Yan Gomes. Gomes will strike out about once every 4 times, and he's bounced into 6 double plays. And if this was the first time this had happened, it would be one thing, but the Twins have seen this many times this year. Gomes with a ground ball to Mauer, his first time up. Four ground ball outs, couple of fly ball outs, and a strikeout.
And so far, it's been a 20-pitch inning for Mike. Falling behind again.
Gomes represents the tying run. And they're scurrying in the Twins bullpen. 1-0 to Gomes. Squirted foul, 1-1.
Well, there's activity in the Twins pen. Paul Mauer just can't afford to let Mike unravel here. The Twins haven't scored that many runs in a long time, and they've got a substantial lead, and they don't want to squander it all away here in one inning.
You know, we called up A.J. Ochter warming up, who was called up along with Chris Herman. The Twins designating Eric Fryer for assignment and setting down Tyler Duffy. Twins now with a 9-man bullpen. And another foul on a 93-mile-per-hour fastball. Now he struck out Ramirez on a splitter, and that was without a runner at third base. Now I don't know how much of a factor that is. Suzuki's got to have the confidence that he can block it.
I don't think either one of them are very comfortable in throwing the ball down in the zone with a runner at third.
One and two to Gomes. Something off speed in the dirt. 2-2. Breaking ball. I think last night's Republican debate here in Cleveland took as long as his third inning. Center. Hicks with the catch. Another run will score, and Hicks's throw is cut off by Escobar. A sacrifice fly, and the Indians have quickly cut the Twins lead in half. Scoring from third, Lindor. And Brantley moves up to third base on the fly ball. 6-3, and now Lonnie Chisenhall, and he too will represent the tying run. Chisenhall singled his first time up. What's happened this year with Pelfrey when innings like this have happened? The Twins, he hasn't been able to get through them and then pitch on the other end of a bad inning. It's been so bad that they've had to take him out. So you can't say, well, yeah, if he can hold the Indians to 3 here, and then they can back in the 4th, 5th, maybe the 6th inning and pitch effectively. The innings like this have been so bad he's had to come out of the game.
Well, and that plus the fact that he hasn't gone back out there for 5 or 6 in a row and mowed him back down. Pitch count a lot in this inning.
1-0 to Chisenhall. Base hit left field at 6-4. A sequence of singles, 1 walk with the bases loaded, and the Indians have 4 runs on the board and the tying run at first. And how patient will Paul Molitor be? They've already used a trip to the mound by the pitching coach.
Yeah, next trip to the mound will be the end of the day for Mike if it's in this inning.
Twins sent 10 men to the plate. Sands is the 9th Cleveland batter this inning. Down and away, ball 1.
Mike just doesn't seem to have any giddy up on his pitches. It seems like he's throwing in sand right now. I don't know what that is. He was so crisp and sharp in his last outing.
One and 0, throwing in sand to Sands. I honestly believe this, Jack. I think this is his last guy, whether he gets him or not. Coming up, the 30th pitch this inning. To right center field. And Hunter ends the inning. 10 runs score in the 3rd inning. And the Twins got 6 of them. Consecutive day, a major leaguer got his 3,000th hit on this date. In 1999, Wade Boggs homered in the 6th off Cleveland pitcher Chris Haney. The Devil Rays third baseman, the first player to reach the milestone with a home run. Rounded the bases, pointed skyward, blowing a kiss in memory of his mom. Got down on his knees to kiss home plate. On this date, 16 years ago. Did you give up any milestone home runs or hits?
No, I just added to everybody's collection.
Just help the likes of Eddie Murray to 3,000. Cal Ripken.
Boggs, all of them.
Suzuki leads off the 4th. We had 10 runs scored in the 3rd inning from 2 lineups that have struggled to score runs. And now Suzuki takes up an in, 1-1. Indians really struggling at home. They're 12 games below 500. Struggling within the division. They're 13 games below 500 within the American League Central. And now 2-1. Well, the 4-run bottom of the 3rd should convey a little intensity to the Twins hitters who might have thought 6 runs would be enough. Might not be enough tonight.
Well, I think Mike Pelfrey will be running back out there. Paul has used the bullpen quite a bit lately.
Left center field and down for a hit. Twins start the 4th inning with a single.
Kurt Suzuki gets on the hit parade for the Twins. Everybody in the lineup now except Mauer and Sano.
Here's Eduardo Escobar. Suzuki laid down a sacrifice, and whenever a big inning results, you tend to think about the hits, but the sacrifice did open up the inning, and we'll see what Escobar is asked to do here with the third baseman Urshela in on the grass already. Strike taken. Escobar tried to bunt in Toronto, but popped the ball up after a double. Started an inning. And now on the outside corner, and it's 0-2. Escobar, it appeared, struck out, or at least some people in the ballpark. We thought he struck out after Hicks singled and Suzuki sacrificed Hicks to second. Turns out the count was just 2-2, and from there the Twins went single, double, intentional walk, later a double and a single and a triple, and they had 6 runs on the board. One and two. Former Twin Jeff Manship's had a good year for the Indians this year. He's getting loose out in the Cleveland pen. Just off the outside corner, close pitch. Wasn't far from where strike 2 was. Escobar singled in a run, scoring Hicks from second with a hot ground ball right up the middle. And now poked foul.
What is it about a couple innings in the course of the game that change everything? The crowd, even though Cleveland came back and scored 4 runs, it's like maybe the hot dogs got to them because they're almost silent right now.
I can guarantee you there haven't been many 4-run innings here at Progressive Field this year. And Escobar takes up high. And then the Indians, of course, with the news that Michael Bourne was traded, Nick Swisher was traded, a couple of free agent acquisitions.
I think that surprised a lot of people around here in the Cleveland organization. They were saying that they didn't think there was ever going to be a way to get rid of those contracts, and yet they were able to do it.
Well, they assumed a big contract from the Braves to make the deal happen,
but not near as big as what they gave up.
Full count, and Escobar takes ball 4. First and second. Jamie Hirsch, the Twins with a 6-run third inning and looking for more here in the 4th.
Well, and Eduardo Escobar has a fancy new pair of shoes that he will walk to first in. They're new and they are Jordans, but it's kind of a running joke between him and Torrey Hunter. Torrey is a big swingman guy. They're Ken Griffey Jr.'s line of baseball cleats, and he gave Escobar a pair, but Eduardo Escobar liked those Jordans better. So this is what Eduardo Escobar has to wear all week, this sign. Please forgive me, Torrey. I love swingman, but he liked these shoes so much better, so he went online, he ordered them. They're a pair of Jordans, and just kind of having some fun, keeping it loose, guys.
And Escobar with a single and a walk so far. Back to the top of the order now, and Dozier the batter. Dozier with a double off the fence in left, and a run scored last inning. And in, ball 1.
I go back so far that I remember my first year when I was in the minor leagues. The only shoe made or worn by the Detroit Tigers was a leather-soled Rydell.
Sure.
That was it. They were black. The other color they could wear was black. And the shoelaces had to be black.
Okay, no orange.
Nothing.
Pop up center field. 1 down. And that'll bring up Mauer.
Former president, general manager Jim Campbell was old school in every way, and that was his rule.
Bauer with a ground ball to first. He was intentionally walked in the third. Now the shoes come in. Well, we got black there. There's red. There's gold.
There's everything. You should see the All-Star game. That's when all the players get their own special edition, and there's some serious bling during batting practice in the home run derby. A lot of neon colors were popular this year.
Twins would do well to add on to a 6-4 lead here after a single and a walk. Bauer takes strike one.
Could be the best pitch he sees at this at bat. A fastball right down Broadway.
Strike two on the outside corner. 97 miles per hour in a good spot. The first time the Twins have seen Adams. The Cleveland starter, Cody Anderson, lasted just 2 2/3 innings. Three fastballs. Bauer's gone on 3 pitches. 2 down. That'll bring up Sano. Weekdays, don't miss America's pregame as Mike and Molly bring you live reports from around the country for the latest from NFL training camps and get you ready for a full night of MLB action. Catch America's pregame every weekday at 4 p.m. Central on Fox Sports 1, streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Promising start to the inning, but now a couple of outs will leave the inning up to Sano. So no 0 for 2, a strikeout and a pop-up. And a swing and a miss.
Well, you mentioned that the Twins haven't seen a lot of Austin Adams. He was up pitching 6 games out of relief last year for Cleveland, so just not a lot of opportunities for the Twins to really see him.
And now inside 1-1. Torrey Hunter, the only batter who's had an at-bat against him. Twins moving Sano up a spot in the batting order. Be nice if the strategy paid off here in the 4th inning. 2 on and 2 out. Fouled away. 1-2. The 2015 season has seen the arrival of Miguel Sano, the arrival of Byron Buxton, who's starting a rehab assignment tonight for Rochester, starting out 2 for 2 in the ball game, a pair of singles. 1-2 to Sano. And now 2-2. Strokes solidly to left. One hops the wall. Scoring from second, Suzuki, and Sano with a double, and Escobar flopping back to third base. Big 2-out hit, and the Twins get another run here in the 4th.
Well, it's something good to see Miguel Sano again driving a ball. That one he hit on a line. And again, Michael Brantley doing a good job of playing that carom off the wall in left field. But he squares this one up nicely. Big, strong, powerful swing.
7-4, and Brantley throwing towards second base, and Escobar rounding third. He was waved, and well, I don't know. That's going to be worth a little bit of a discussion. It looked like Gene Glenn was waving him home, and Escobar stopped on his own. And another pitching change for the Indians. 2-out hits, hoping for some more here in the fourth. Before we tell you about the next Cleveland pitcher, our Carsoup.com trivia question: who is the only Twins player to reach 200 career hits against the Indians? I think I will take the easy way out and make my guess quietly. Here's Jeff Manship. Done a really good job. Just 6 hits allowed in 16 innings.
Yeah, former Twin Jeff Manship making his 14th appearance. Good guy. I play. You and I think both went on a winter caravan with him. I know I did.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And really enjoyed my time with Jeff.
Plouffe, the batter, with 2 men in scoring position and 2 out, and a fastball, a strike. Manship had a chance to start, pitch out of the pen. He's bounced around. And it's always good to see a good guy getting another chance and taking advantage of it.
He's a survivor, that's for sure. He's had lots of chances.
Plouffe with a 2-run double his last time up. Now a solid ground ball hit right to the shortstop Lindor. Low throw, and a stretch at first by Sands. The Twins get a couple of hits, 1 more run in the fourth, and lead by 3. Presented by CenturyLink, your link to what's next. By NorthlandFord.com and your local Northland Ford dealer. And by Grand Casino. The best stories start here. Mike Pelfrey now pitching with a 3-run lead. The Indians battered around against him, scored 4 times in the third. First pitch fouled away, 1 strike. Giovanni Urshela hit a ground ball to the right side. Dozier made a nice pickup. His throw pulled Mauer off the bag, and that was the beginning of 5 hits and 4 runs scored in the inning in the third for the Indians after the Twins had scored 6 times. 0-2.
Yeah, Urshela, another young player here in the Indians organization, 23-year-olds. He's out of Columbia. That's not always a mega hotspot for ball players.
The Indians struck gold from Brazil, Yan Gomes. 2 strikes. Just off the outside corner.
Mike needs to get this first hitter. He has to attack the strike zone. He's got 3 runs to work with. I think he's going to be on a short leash this inning if he puts anybody on base.
1-2. Now 2-2.
See, that was a breaking ball. That was his curveball that he tried to get over. He's really battled that pitch today, and not being able to command it, which has really made him a 2-pitch pitcher, and that's the fastball and the split finger. That's the fastball.
And another base hit to start the 4th inning. Urshela is 2 for 2 against Pelfrey. And that'll bring up Tyler Holt. Holt singled and scored last inning. One thing we've seen throughout hits, even the outs. Pelfrey's not getting the ball hit on the ground. That's his strength. Of course, you leave pitches up, and the result is the ball tends to be retrieved by outfielders rather than infielders.
Yeah, and when he's going good, he's got that pretty good sink. The ball's coming down at a good angle. He's using his height to an advantage, but you can see his lower body just going too fast. He's opening up with his front side, his shoulder, and the ball's staying up in the zone. They're pretty flat. For a guy that's 6'7", he's not really getting any kind of downward plane.
In the 3rd inning, there were 5 hits, a walk with the bases loaded, a sacrifice fly, and the Indians left the tying run on base. And the inning was started, of course, with singles by the number 8 and number 9 batters. That's to right and short. Hunter with the catch, 1 away. But again, a ball hit up in the air. That'll bring up Ramirez.
Stepping in for the Indians, the second baseman, Jose Rivera.
A.J. Actor continuing to throw this half inning again. He was up last half inning. And they don't want to get him up too many times. You almost feel like this time he's going to get up to get into the game. And if he doesn't get into the game, if Pelfrey get a couple quick outs, they'll probably shut him down and get somebody else up the next time.
You know, you've got 2 different contexts going here regarding Pelfrey. This is a game the Twins need to win. They've lost 5 in a row. They're in a pennant race. So on that basis, there's no patience. You just have to have the win. You've got to make whatever move regardless of what inning it is. But the other context is what's happened to the Twin starters, or what happened to them in Toronto with some short starts and an overworked bullpen. Tyler Duffy didn't last very long. And so right now, Paul Molitor content to let Pelfrey out there. He's gotten ahead of Ramirez 0-2.
Well, this is the game the Twins have to take. They've had a good lead here. They've got to win this one. They've got a couple more experienced, tougher pitchers to face in the last 2 games. Trevor Bauer going tomorrow night. He's got 8 wins. And then Corey Kluber, who was a Cy Young Award winner a year ago, only with 6 wins, but he's been pitching better. So it's not going to be easy after tonight. They've got a lead. They've got to capitalize on it.
1-2 to Ramirez. Ramirez can't seem to make contact against Pelfrey. Pelfrey has just 2 strikeouts. Both times it's been Ramirez with a man on base. 2 down, and now Lindor. Lindor with a sacrifice bunt in the first. Each team dropping down an early sacrifice bunt, which seems odd given the fact we're in the 4th inning and we've had 11 runs scored. And then Lindor singled and scored in the 3rd inning. Nearly hit him, spun him away, ball 1. Again, the Indians have 3 established hitters hitting consecutively 3rd, 4th, and 5th. You have a chance here to get Lindor and face those guys in the 5th inning rather than in the 4th inning with 2 men aboard. Strike called, and a big call it was. Instead of 3-0, it's 2-1. Base hit right field. Lindor with his 2nd hit. And now Brantley will come up representing the tying run. Indians have actually out-hit the Twins now 9-8. Paul Molitor winced in meeting with the media, talking about his new 9-man bullpen. There are 3 lefties with the addition of Octor. Fiend, Boyer, Graham, Jepson, and May are still out there from the right side. Perkins, Dunsing, and O'Rourke from the left side.
Well, what happened is that Tyler Duffy, the starter, was sent back, and that they brought up a reliever to replace him. So when his turn comes back around, now there's an off day, I believe, on his turn.
Monday, yep.
Which will extend that spot in the rotation. They'll just probably skip him and go back to the other 4. But eventually they're going to have to add another starter. And that'll probably mean one of the guys in the pen will either start or they'll go down to the minor leagues again.
1-0 to Brantley. Singled his last time up. Fair ball into the corner. Urshela will score. Lindor being waved around. It's a 1-run game and the tying run's at second.
In the baseball world, I think Michael Brantley kind of goes under the radar. He's one of the game's better hitters, and he's shown that so many times against the Twins. And he gets 2 RBIs right there, a double that he was able to pull. That'll be the end of the night for Mike Pelfrey.
Pitch is up all night long, and a belt high pitch hammered by Brantley, and an awful start for Pelfrey. He's still responsible for Brantley at second. It's a 7-6 ball game. And we believe it's A.J. Octor who'll pitch next for the Twins.
Called up after the game last night and flew from Atlanta this morning, got in around noon. He said he's excited about the call-up, guys, but he says he's taking a much more business-like approach this time around because he was called up last year, so he's been here before, so he wants to be less starry-eyed this time. His manager told us this earlier today that his name has surfaced many times this season when they talked about who could come up and help them out. He said it was a very deserving call-up, and Paul Molitor said he has a lot of confidence that this guy can throw it over, hold runners on, and be a big asset in big spots like he hopefully will be here, guys.
Yeah, he had a good spring training, ended up closing some games for Rochester, and this is just the 4th inning, but it's almost a save situation here. The Twins have had a 6-run lead. It's down to 1. There's a runner at second, 2 down on the batter, switch hitter Carlos Santana. Up and away, ball 1. side now 2-0. 7 relief appearances last year. Native of Toledo, Ohio. Not too far from here. Picked up a win in Detroit against the Tigers, and now 3-0 with Gomes on deck.
Well, we got a little inside story on Octor. His father is a high school football coach, and right now they're doing 2-a-days practice-wise in the evening because of the heat. And he wanted to see his son pitch tonight or get in the game or at least be a part of his big league experience. So he told his team that we're going to work out in the morning so he can come to these games.
Santana walks. And now Yan Gomes.
This is a game that the Twins are really going to regret if they can't figure out a way to hold on to the lead.
We're just in the 4th inning. And neither the Twins nor the Indians have done much run scoring lately. We've got 13 runs on the board. Gomes with a bouncer to first, and he drove in a run with a fly ball in the 4-run 3rd inning. And now Octor can't throw a strike. 1-0.
13 runs, 18 hits so far in this game.
Free charge with 6 runs in 3 2/3 innings, 10 hits. There's a runner at second that he's responsible for. Strike called, 1-1. Technically an intentional walk to Santana. Two and one. Game's about an hour and 45 minutes old, and we still haven't had 4 full innings. Two and one to the Cleveland catcher. Deep to left. Have come back from 6-0 to take a 9-7 lead. And the Indians have backed up a 4-run 3rd with so far 5 runs here in the 4th. And now Lonnie Chisenhall. Strike on the outside corner. And missing inside 1-1. An absolutely wilting last 2 innings with the Twins scoring 6 runs. Mike Pelfrey's given up 7 runs, and now 2 of them to charge to Octor, making his 2015 debut. 2-1. You see Chris Herman called up with Octor after the ball game last night. 2-2. Twins gave Mike Pelfrey every opportunity here. Struggling through the 3rd inning, giving up 4 runs, in part because they had short starts in Toronto. And needed to try to get every out, every inning they could out of him. And he had a terrible 4th inning to follow up a terrible 3rd. Bottom line, Cleveland with a 9-7 lead.
Well, it happened in the third inning for the Twins. They were able to muster up 6 hits, and they got 6 runs. And then Cleveland comes back at the bottom of the third inning. They get 5 hits of their own, and they played 4. Then in the bottom half of the fourth inning, Yan Gomes, the first home run of the game. And they put 5 more runs back on the board, 4 hits, and lead right now.
Torrey Hunter takes a strike leading off the 5th inning. Hunter drove in a pair of runs with a ground ball single his last time up. Jeff Manship got the last out of the 4th, and he's out there to start the 5th. 1-1. Hunter, Rosario, and Hicks. And you would have liked to have thought that the run the Twins got, even just the single run in the 4th inning. The ball hit down the left field line and deep. It's a fair ball. It's back and it's high off the wall. Hunter digging for second. Brantley's throw not in time. Hunter buckles, keeping a hand on the bag, and he's got an opening double here in the 5th.
You get the feeling that this is going to be a slugfest all the way to the very end. Both teams just banging the ball all over the place.
Hey, how do you slide at age 40 that hard into a base and pick yourself up afterwards?
Well,
that looked like an accident waiting to happen.
You're in shape, and you do everything every day to be ready for the game. Torrey Hunter always comes out early and stretches and runs, and he's moving around. He knows that he's got to get there, and that can get a lot of guys can get hurt there on that one.
Like he lost contact with the base, but Indians won't challenge. Here's Rosario, and he represents the tying run, and he lifts it foul over the Cleveland dugout. Rosario with a triple to the gap in left center field, driving in a run in the 3rd inning when the Twins scored 6 times. Manship steps off. To right side, might have cracked his bat. Hunter will go to 3rd on the out, 1 away. Hicks.
And now the Twins will have 2 chances to try to put Torrey Hunter across home plate, get within 1. Hicks has got a hit back in the 3rd inning, the big inning for the Twins.
Zach McAllister warming up. Hicks with a single to center and a line out to center field. He takes a strike over the inside corner. Corner infielders up, middle infielders back. Hicks started the 6-run 3rd inning with a single. Half swing, did he go? Strike 2.
Hitters rarely think that they go on these check swings. But as you can see, his bat crosses home plate, and that's a strike.
He's trying to get a run in here now with an 0-2 count. 1-2. Two and 2.
Very important at bat right here. This game has been a crazy wild one offensively, but there's an RBI sitting at 3rd base, and Twins need to get it in, get back in this again.
And Hicks protects the plate, fouls one off. It's 1 for 2. The batting average at .279. Wants to do a better job in situations like this. Run producing situations. Just missed the corner, and it's 3-2 with Suzuki on deck. Six in the third inning, 1 in the fourth. And now 1 in the fifth. Hicks lashes one toward the gap. And digging for second. He's in with a double, and the Twins have the tying run at second.
Good hustle by Aaron Hicks. Getting to second base. You can see the difference between live grass and that new turf up in Toronto. That ball would have been sucked up and probably been a 3-hopper to the left fielder or center fielder, but Aaron shoots the gap with this right over the shortstop's head. Easily scoring Torrey Hunter. Ball rolled hard out there, and great base running by Aaron Hicks.
The ball nearly split the outfielders, and then Hicks might have been able to get to third base, but it is an RBI double after falling behind 0-2. The Twins are back within a run, and here is Suzuki. Manship not used to giving up hits, just 6 allowed all year, and the Twins have a couple of extra base hits against him. Suzuki with a swing and a miss, 1 strike.
Twins have to be patient with Manship. He's a little erratic with his location. It's not like he's painting with his pitches. He throws the ball with a lot of motion, and he tries to get hitters to swing out of the zone. Very few strikes actually are within the strike zone.
Backhanded by Gomes, 1-1. Twins know Manship very well, of course. He spent most of his professional career in the Twins organization. Bounced foul past Gene Glenn. The first 6 batters were retired by Cody Anderson. Since then, only once has a Cleveland pitcher retired back-to-back batters. Something no Twins pitcher has done since the second inning as well. 1-2. Hit to Urshela. 2 down. And that'll bring up Escobar. Escobar with a single and a walk, needing a hit to the outfield here now to tie the game. Had a game in Toronto that was kind of similar to this. The Twins broke free, scored 7 runs, but they gave up 9. Now they've got 8, and they're still behind. Escobar, a single and a walk. Hit to the outfield should score Hicks. And a soft line drive hit to Ramirez. That ends it. A pair of doubles for the Twins. They cut the Cleveland lead in half. fans here at Progressive Field, our Pepsi fans of the game, have seen the Twins score 8 times. They had a 6-0 lead, but they're down a run as we go to the bottom of the 5th. Jerry Sands will lead things off against A.J. Octor. Strike called on the outside corner. Sands, Urshela, and Holt. And it's been Urshela that started both Cleveland rallies with leadoff singles, first in the 3rd, then in the 4th. 1-1. How good was your imagination out there? Now you never pitched in a role like Octor is here, but Bert's always saying, hey, it's 6-0. You've got to pretend it's a 1-0 ball game. You've got to imagine it's a 1-run game. You can't imagine this is a 1-0 game, can you? I've got a vivid imagination. I can't possibly imagine that it's just 1-0 Cleveland.
I think a better way to put it is that you have to focus.
Okay.
Just start all over.
That.
It's 0-0. Start all over. But yeah, nobody's going to imagine after what we've seen here today.
2-2. Sands with 2 outfield flies, 1 to center, 1 to right. And in some respects, this whole game has been unimaginable. Two and two.
What just shocks me, and it's a generational thing, is that there have been 21 hits now, 17 runs scored, and we haven't seen anybody move their feet. Everything's away. When you miss, it's away. I think one guy had to stand up, and that was Lindor on a fastball in from Pelfrey, and it was belt high. And I'm not, again, it's just a generational thing. When you see guys hammering the ball around like that, they're comfortable.
Sands might have swung a ball 4, 3-2. You know, they're discussing right now, the manager and the pitching coach, how are we going to, I mean, we got 5 more innings to go here tonight.
Well, Paul's used guys here in the series in Toronto. The bullpen was used extensively.
Yeah. And Octor strikes out Sands, 1 away.
5 relievers were used 2 games ago. Last night's game, 4 relievers were used. So he's got to try to get somebody to extend the game a little bit.
That's why he's got a 9-man bullpen, and he's still a little squeezed here trying to get the outs necessary to maybe win a ball game. The Twins take on the Rangers August 11th through the 13th at Target Field. Tuesday features the U.S. Bank Value Pack. Purchase a U.S. Bank Home Run Porch View ticket. Receive a free Schweigert hot dog and Pepsi. Wednesday's a student day presented by Rasmussen College. Standing room tickets just $5 for students. They include a free ride on Metro Transit. Call 800-33-TWINS or go to twinsbaseball.com. Here's Urshela. 2 base hits to the right side. 1 in the infield, 1 in the outfield. And a foul back. 1-1.
His approach at the plate is to shoot the ball the other way. He's trying to do everything to hit the ball to the right side.
That's up the line. Just foul. Just wide of the bag. 1-2.
Octor took a little something off there, and he was able to roll that ball over. Ryan Dunsing up and throwing in the Twins pen. Zach McAllister pitching in the Indians pen.
Octor was 4-2, an ERA 2.82. 40 games, 44 2/3 innings. Two and two. Big crowd on hand for the opening game of the series. The insurance company whose name is on this ballpark had about 20,000 tickets they distributed here.
Yes, for as big a crowd as it is and as many runs as have been scored, They're as quiet as ever. So if you need to put a kid to sleep, give him a hot dog.
Or 6 of them, which is the limit here, I guess. Popped up. It'll reach the seat. Still 2-2.
I don't think it's the limit, but it might be a limit for the dollar. And I'm sure you can go to somebody next to you who hasn't eaten 6 of them if you're really hungry.
There, or you can just share that way. 2-2. And another foul. They had the Republican debate here last night. The election may come and go before this game is over with.
There's been a lot of standing in the outfield and in the infield in this game for both teams. Just has not been a fast-paced game at all.
Since the home run by Gomes, Ochter struck out 3 men in a row.
See this breaking ball by Ochter down in the zone. He gets Urshela to swing out of the zone.
Tyler Holt, the batter. Speed pitch gets a swing and a miss. Indians didn't score in the first, didn't score in the second. Pelfrey gave up a couple of hits, but faced just 7 men in the 2 innings. And he faced 9 men in the third after being given a 6-0 lead. Strike called, 0-2. And then he allowed 2 more runs. Ochter allowed 2 more in the. Excuse me, Pelfrey gave up 3 more, and Ochter 2 more in the 5-run fourth. And Ochter strikes out the side in the 5th, on to the 6th, and a 1-run game, a 1-0 game. Remember, Jack, it's just 1-0. Cleveland going to the 6th inning. Sanford Health injury report. Steven Strasburg could return to the rotation tomorrow. He's had a strained oblique and a very disappointing year for Strasburg. And you can see the Nationals 56-51, the prohibitive favorite but heavy favorite to be the best team in the National League. The Mets are ahead of them. And I mean, there's a decent chance, unless they pick up their play, the Nationals won't even get to the postseason.
Well, the Mets really have come on with their starting rotation. They picked up Yoenis Cespedes at the trade deadline to kind of help them in that run.
Brian Dozier will lead off the sixth. Twins trying to keep their fading playoff hopes alive in a game that they need to win, especially after jumping out in front 6-0. Zach McAllister, the new Cleveland pitcher. And Dozier swing, a foul ball, 1 strike. Dozier, Mauer, and Sano. Twins have gotten leadoff hits in each of the last 3 innings. They've scored in each of the last 3 innings. We'll see what Dozier can do starting the 6th. And now 2-1. McAllister, an erstwhile starter, pitching out of the Cleveland bullpen.
More familiar name around the game. Zach McAllister. Of course, they still have Brian Shaw, who's one of their main stables in the bullpen.
A drive to left field. And Brian Dozier has tied the game. Home run number 24. And that's a leadoff hit.
He's done it so many times this year. Brian Dozier again gets a high pitch that he is able to keep his hands on top of and sends it out to left field. We've seen it time and time again, but now, Dick, we can just say it's a 0-0 game.
Okay.
You know, whatever we saw up to this point, just forget about.
Most of it a bad dream.
Here's the pitch to Brian, and right in the whooping zone.
Well, now Mauer in a tie game. Twins have scored in 4 straight innings. Don't have the time to do the research on that, but I'm here to tell you it's been a while since the Twins have scored in 4 straight innings. Mauer is 0 for 2. He was intentionally walked, scored a run in the 3rd.
Well, that's why it's so important for the Twins to win this game in more ways than one. Just you're going to have a slugfest against a team that's last in your division and hasn't really played that well all year long, after getting throttled by a very good team right now in the Toronto Blue Jays in a 4-game series, and not winning a series at all in the second half. It'd be nice to win this first one in Cleveland and go from there.
2-1. Bouncer to short. Easy play for Lindor. 1 away. And that'll bring up Sano.
Hey, Twins fans, don't forget at Twins home games, bring your Circle Me signs, and if you get circled, you may find yourself in the Minnesota Lottery Winner's Circle, where you could win $100 worth of lottery scratch-off tickets, courtesy of the Minnesota Lottery.
Sano with a double off the fence and left his last time up. Was down on the field as the Twins were getting ready to take batting practice, and I just happened to see Sano in the foreground and the fence in left here at Progressive Field in the background. And I thought to myself, this guy's going to do a lot of damage in this ballpark. It's been a while since the Twins have had a right-handed power hitter the likes of Miguel Sano, and he'll play an awful lot here in this ballpark. 2 strikes. Fights that off. It's still 0-2.
Well, what's crazy is that Brian Dozier now leads the Twins in home runs with 24 with that leadoff home run. And you look at Brian Dozier and you say, that's not a home run hitter. And you look at Miguel Sano and you say, that is a home run hitter. And time will tell whether or not he becomes that guy. He's got every reason. We have every reason to believe he will be.
Close check swing right there.
But the fact is, this guy doesn't get a lot of fastballs to hit, and that may change during his career, and he may not miss those fastballs that he gets. But so far, they have pitched him like a veteran. We've talked about him many times. Well, they're always pitching backwards on this guy, and a lot of breaking balls and off-speed pitches.
1-2. Foul back. Sano can get jammed and still hit it out of this ballpark and most other ballparks. You can hit it on the trademark and still lift it over the fence. 1-2. And now 2-2. Now 3-2. How many times have we seen this? Sano aggressive early in the count, which the Twins like. They don't want to take that away from him. And he falls behind and many times has drawn walks after falling behind 0-2. And a 97-mile-per-hour fastball gets him on strikes. 2 down.
Zach McAllister just reached back for a little extra there, and he got it. That hasn't been a pitch that Sano's seen from him. A little slow on this one.
Plouffe with a double, driving in a couple of runs in the 6-run third inning. Down the right field line, and Chisenhall makes the catch. A leadoff home run in the 6th, and the Twins have evened the score at 9. Orthopedics and sports medicine for the everyday competitor in all of us. Tonight in Cleveland, a tie game now, and Brian Dunsing will try to keep it that way.
Yeah, he'll be the first pitcher in this game trying to not allow a run. Everybody that's pitched in the game has given up at least 1 run. And Brian Dunsing, the 3rd pitcher now for the Twins. 39th appearance.
Face the top of the Cleveland order. Ramirez started the game for Cleveland with a double off the center field fence. And then Mike Pelfrey struck him out twice. Strike 1. Dunsing had back-to-back outings in the last homestand where he gave up runs. 3 earned runs in a third of an inning. A couple of scoreless outings in Toronto, and Ramirez a lot of swinging and missing. And Dunsing gets ahead of him 0-2. Just off the plate. Ramirez, Lindor, and Brantley in the 6th inning. Popped up. Dozier and Hunter, and it's Hunter with the call on the catch, 1 away.
Well, had enough carry, enough hang time, I should say, for Torrey to finally get over there. Looked like it might be another one of those Texas leaguers.
We had, what, 3 of those last night?
Yeah.
1 down, and here's Lindor. Sacrifice bunt in the first, and a pair of singles and a pair of runs scored. Boston leading Detroit 7-2. Significant for the Twins because the Tigers had pulled to within a game of Minnesota in the standings. And Lindor, strike 1. Twins have an accommodating schedule to get back on a roll of winning series, most of them anyway. Now you've got to play much better baseball. Look out, look out. 0-2 to Lindor, and he lost his bat. Right now the Twins taking on a Cleveland team that's struggling. Then when they return home, 3 with Texas, a team that's right at the 500 mark. Then Cleveland again. That was a pretty hefty toss.
Well, Texas actually jumped in front of the Twins in the wild card race. So.
Yeah. One game above 500 though, having won 4 in a row.
Right, and
so
they've been playing better.
But that's an example too. The Rangers 3 games below, and suddenly they win 4 in a row. That's a modest winning streak, but you do it, and you're, within a game of a playoff
Absolutely,
spot.
Absolutely. That's why every game means something, and you got to. Every out means something. Every inning, you've got to go out there and keep grinding away.
Nice catch by Dunsing. 2 down. And Michael Brantley will bat. Last year, Glover Teixeira took the champ to the limit, while Ovid St. Preux took only seconds to destroy a legend. Tomorrow, watch 2 of the sport's most ferocious heavyweights collide on UFC Fight Night. Coverage beginning at 9 p.m. Central, only on Fox Sports 1. Streaming live, Fox Sports Go. Brantley's not come up with the bases empty before.
Good.
It's empty good. Now. Just tied the game up. You don't want to fall behind again. Ball 1. Indians scoring 9 runs tonight on 11 hits, and Jason Kipnis, their best hitter, is going to be out for a while with a bad shoulder. Put on the disabled list. Strike called, 1-1. There's Kipnis. Another thing that makes this game odd is Cleveland's strength is its starting rotation. Their starter tonight, Cody Anderson, wasn't very good. The Twins knocked him out in the 3rd inning.
Well, he's their 5th guy.
Right. But you're not going to run up 9 runs in the first half of a game against this Cleveland team very often.
No.
And just as odd, the fact that the Indians, who are among the worst teams in scoring runs this year, came back from 6-0 very quickly to actually take a lead.
Carrasco there, one of the starting pitchers.
2-2 to Brantley. Dunsing trying for the first time tonight to retire the Indians 1-2-3.
First time in a while for him, period, to get through an order 1-2-3 and take care of a left-hander. That's been one of the problems with Brian, is he's been asked to get out a few left-handers and hasn't been able to do it. So it'd be nice to see Brian do that.
One hopper to Escobar. And it's a 1-2-3-6. We go to the 7th, tied at 9. Kloof with a big double in the 3rd inning, scoring a couple of runs. Twins had 6-0 lead, but then the Indians came right back with a 4-run 3rd inning. Yan Gomes with a 3-run home run, part of a 5-run 4th inning. But then in the 6th inning, Brian Dozier with a home run. And the Twins come back not as complete as the Indians come back. Nevertheless, is effective, and we are 9-9 going to the 7th. Torrey Hunter will lead things off in the 7th inning. Hunter, Rosario, and Hicks in the 7th, facing McAllister. And Hunter takes outside, ball 1. See these Cleveland relievers and with varying degrees of effectiveness, including Manship, although Manship I think topped out about 93 miles per hour. McAllister can run it up there at 97. Adams was a hard thrower. 2-0 now to Hunter. Fly ball, right field. Retreating a few steps. Chisenhall on the edge of the track, one down. And that'll bring up Rosario.
Early in the ball game, I don't know if that ball would have carried anywhere near that far. The wind was really coming in from right. The flags have kind of calmed down, and that ball went to the track. There's pitching coach Mickey Callaway.
One down. Here's Rosario, an RBI triple in the 6-run 3rd inning. Up and away, ball 1. Inside. 2-0. McAllister fell behind Hunter. 2-0. Came back to get him. Rosario trying to get aboard for Hicks, who's become a better run producer. 2-1. Casey Fiend warming up. Paul Molitor saying during his media session today that, yeah, if you had to pick one guy right now, Trevor May would be his 8th inning guy. Swing and a foul with Rosario trying to untie the game.
Well, now that they're in the 7th inning, it's a situation that Paul can kind of go back to his set guys. He's going to piece it together. Dunsing probably done for the day, and the rest of the way it's going to be an inning at a time.
2-2. And Rosario strikes out, 2 down. And the bases will be empty for Hicks.
Again, Zach McAllister reaching back for a little extra. High cheese right there. Rosario can't catch up to it. That's a pitch that he needs to lay off of. He does better down in the zone than up there.
Hicks with a couple of hits and a line out. And he gets his 3rd hit, pulling the first pitch sharply into right. And I guess 3 hits in a ball game is nice under any conditions, but these are 3 hits from the left side of the plate. And a 2-out single. Carsoup.com trivia question. The answer must be Rod Carew, doesn't it? With the.
How about Kirby Puckett? Ha! I win.
All right, very good. Way to go, partner.
It's the first win in 5 games.
And now Suzuki. Kirk 1 for 2 with a sacrifice bunt. Base stealing situation here for Hicks. Hunter stole early in the game. And the ball thrown away. And Hicks will go to second base. The ball going off the field of play. Hicks will get 1 base and actually popped either through or over the railing into the seats and then back in the crowd. So Hicks gets second base on an error.
Charge to McAllister.
Okay.
Whoops. Ball looked like it just squirted out of his fingers. Wasn't even close to the first baseman. Jerry Sands now retreating back.
Hicks with a hit, now an error. He's in scoring position. We'll see if Suzuki can come through. Home foul. 1 strike.
A lot of runs early in this ball game. Most of the runs scored by the 5th inning. Here we are in the 7th, and now it's kind of settled in a little bit. I'm not sure 1 run will decide this game, but it'd be nice to see the Twins get the first chance with a lead here late in the game.
Popped up and back into the seats. Yeah, I'm with you. I don't know that 10 runs is going to be enough to win the game, but the team that gets the next run is going to have a lot better chance. And
you feel better about it at this point than you did, in the 3rd inning.
Oh, 2 to Suzuki. Off the plate. Suzuki swings and misses. Hicks left at second, and we're still tied at 9. Need a strong fan photo of the game. Tweet your strongest fan photo to hashtag #NorthDataStrongFan. A chance to be featured in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. Jamie Hirsch and Jack Morris, Dick Bramer here in Cleveland. Twins had a 6-0 lead at one point. Then they trailed 9-7. Now it's tied, and Casey Fiend will try to keep it that way with a scoreless 7th inning.
Yeah, Casey will get the 7th inning, bottom half of it, in his 37th appearance. And Paul Molitor seems to going to want to try to piece this one together one at a time. The rest of the way, hopefully the Twins can hold him down. Brian Dunsing pitched a 1-2-3-6 for the Twins. Now Fiend will be asked to pitch the 7th.
And he'll pitch to the middle of the Cleveland lineup: Santana, Gomes, and Chisenhall. Santana has walked twice, scored a run. His walk in the 3rd inning came with the bases loaded off of Mike Pelfrey. And Fiend misses the outside corner. Came inside, got a swinging strike. On the outside corner, a little over 30,000 to paid attendance tonight. 30,365. Pulled on the ground to Dozier in short right field. One down. Byron Buxton got 3 hits tonight. His team lost. He was the designated hitter. Singled his first 2 times up. Dealing with a sprained left thumb. The 3 hits are nice. The 5 at bats are nice. And he's expected to be playing in the field as soon as tomorrow.
Well, that's good news.
One down. Yan Gomes the batter.
The way Aaron Hicks is hitting right now, I'm not sure that Buxton will be playing center field, but you never know.
To right field and down for a hit. Gomes dumps a single in front of Hunter. You can follow live Twins baseball every day with MLB.com at bat on your smartphone or tablet. Stay connected to the Twins all season with MLB.tv Game of the Day, in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, more. Browse the app's new features, including StatCast tracking videos and bilingual access for Spanish-speaking fans. Download MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Here's Chisenhall. Jam shot and a dribbler up the line, and Mauer will make the tag, but on the play, Gomes goes to second.
And now the Cleveland Indians will have a runner in scoring position with 2 outs. It'll be up to first baseman Jerry Sands.
Sands has a strikeout and 2 fly balls. Indians 5 for 8 with runners in scoring position. There's a high pop up, short right field. Dozier out, and he makes the catch with Hunter sliding in behind him. Big time catch for Dozier, and we're tied going to the 8th. imagining them as a wild card competitor with the Twins, and we left there thinking they got a pretty good shot at catching the Yankees with all the games left.
Yeah, they had 13 games remaining with each other.
Eduardo Escobar will lead things off against Brian Shaw, the fourth right-handed reliever. The Indians have just one left-handed reliever, and it'll be Escobar facing Shaw, then Dozier and Mauer.
Well, the Twins kind of piecing it together late with their veterans, and now Terry Francona doing the same thing. McAllister pitches 2 innings, and now Brian Shaw will take over.
Shaw will get the 8th, and whether the Indians have a lead or not, closer Allen might get the 9th. Escobar a single, a walk, and a soft line drive to Ramirez at second. Outside, ball 1. Indians have had some bullpen issues, but Shaw's been good. Allen's been okay. On the outside corner. League hitting just .210 against Shaw. Hitting .242 against Allen. Pitches up 2-1. 11 walks in nearly 40 innings.
Shaw, one of those guys that lives and dies with pretty much one pitch. That's that little cutter of his.
Just off the plate. Close pitch, 3-1. Whenever the Twins have gotten their leadoff man on, they've scored. They did that 4 innings in a row. Didn't get the leadoff man on in the 7th. Escobar trying to get there in the 8th. Three and 2. Called. Tap to the right side. Easy play for Ramirez. 1 down. And that'll bring up Brian Dozier, who has a double off the fence and a home run over the fence.
His last time up, leading off the inning, Brian took the fastball off of Zach McAllister over the left field wall, and that tied it up for the Twins.
Trying to get aboard here. Had a 6-0 lead. Saw the Indians score 4 runs immediately. Then it was 7-4, and the Indians put up a 5 spot. Dozier drives it foul over the Twins dugout.
Look up.
To the glove of Shaw, 2 down. Dozier put the barrel of the bat on it, but the pitcher snagged it for out number 2.
Well, it probably wasn't hit quite as hard as Shaw or myself thought.
Mauer 0 for 3. He was intentionally walked in the 3rd. Joe's average down to 262 right now. Strike call. With a dozen hits, Mauer looking for his first. Fouled away, 2 strikes. His average was down to 250, got it up into the 280s. Now going back down south again in a year when the batting champion. Probably going to hit around 325, something like that. Foul back.
Those are pitches that a couple years ago you'd never see Joe Mauer foul off. Those are all up in the zone, the pitches that he would get the top hand through and really drive the ball, whether it be left center, right center, sometimes down the right field line.
2 strikes to Mauer. There are 9 coming into play today. 9 300 batters in the American League, topped by Prince Fielder at 327. Jason Kipnis is second at 326. Kipnis does not have enough plate appearances to win a batting championship. He'd have to come back from the disabled list and win a title. 2 strikes to Mauer with 2 gone in the 8th. Poke to left, and Mauer gets a base hit. That'll get Sano to the plate.
Well, maybe Sano can drive one here again. Watch Joe run.
Sano with an RBI double in the 4th inning. Hit one to the base of the fence in left. Driving in Suzuki. Belt high strike. Trying to retake the lead after the second out here in the 8th. Challenging him at 92 and a swing and a miss. 0-2. And now the at bat really just beginning. Struck him out on the very next pitch. Mauer left the board. Bottom of the 8th coming up in a 9-9 game. Paul Molitor will be too complimentary about what happens, win or lose here tonight. But nevertheless, a game the Twins desperately need to win to end the losing streak. And Trevor May anointed the 8th inning guy, if there was one on this team, and Paul Molitor said as much this afternoon. And here it is, the 8th inning, and here's Trevor May.
Yeah, these are the kind of games that definitely you want to win. You know, they hurt even more if you don't win them.
Urshela, the igniter of 2 big innings for Cleveland when they scored all 9 of their runs, got a leadoff single in each inning. Big swing and a foul, 1 strike. Urshela, Holt, and Ramirez in the Cleveland 8th. Breaking ball, Dozier out, can't reach it. It's a leadoff hit. His 3rd hit of the ball game, not hit well at all, but he's aboard to start the 8th. And Trevor May will pitch from the stretch. Let's go to Jamie Hurd.
Well, guys, Trevor May has been pretty frank about his disappointment in being moved to the bullpen, but he is proud of the fact that he's become a reliable setup man. He said big spots like this can only help him if he does make the transition back to being a starter, which he expects to do. He said the hardest part is staying focused on the present right now, not worrying about what might happen to him in September or next year. But these are exactly the kind of spots that he thinks will help him down the road.
See what Tyler Holt is asked to do here. Thank you, Jamie. Holt in a bunting situation. The number 9 batter with a runner at first. Nobody out. May throwing over there to see whether Holt betrayed his intentions.
Well, like so many guys with good arms, they go to the bullpen and they become either the setup man or the closer. They kind of migrate to that fastball and they gain a couple miles an hour on the fastball, and all of a sudden the breaking ball and the off-speed pitch, which they need.
In the air, May with the catch.
Big out. The 3 pitches you need as a starter, you don't necessarily need as a guy deeper in the game. And he's been able lately to crank that fastball up and just go after hitters a lot like Glenn Perkins does in the 9th inning.
You see that high fastball, and it got the desired result. A bunt in the air, caught by May. Holt hesitated momentarily, and then he realized May could have let the ball drop if Holt didn't run out of the box. Here's Ramirez. Fouled back, 1 strike. Since driving one off the center field fence in the 1st inning, Ramirez has struck out twice and hit a fly ball to right. Out in front of that changeup.
Good pitch right there because he kept it down. A lot of times hitters will kind of get started with their lower body and lunge at the ball, but keep their hands back, and when it's up they still can make contact with that ball. But when he keeps it down, there's nothing much they can do except pound it into the ground or swing and miss.
One and two.
Be careful about backing up changeups. That's what he did right there, back-to-back changeups.
Fly ball right field. Hit it right at Torrey Hunter. 2 down. We talk so much about the changeup when he gets a swing and a miss, but when he gets a hitter out on his front foot and they hit a lazy fly ball like that, it's just as effective.
Now 2 outs after a leadoff hit by Urshela.
And now Lindor.
He's had a pretty good night himself. Had a sac bunt and 2 base hits, scored 2 runs.
Hit a comebacker to Dunsing his last time up. Ball one.
I just wonder at what point will Trevor May get back in the rotation? Will it be yet this year, or will it be in spring training again?
And within that, I'll be curious how the Twins handle Mike Pelfrey's spot in the rotation. This was a disastrous start for Pelfrey. Here's a high pop-up. Playable for Suzuki or Plouffe, and it's Plouffe calling him off. And May pitches around a leadoff single in the 8th. We head to the 9th, tied at 9. Twins coming into this series having been swept by the Blue Jays. Now Jose Bautista has hit a solo home run in the 10th inning, and the Blue Jays take a 2-1 lead over the Yankees in the opening game of that series. 12 games left between those two teams after tonight. Tomorrow, David Price goes for the Blue Jays. Toronto 4.5 games behind New York starting play today. Here's Trevor Plouffe starting the 9th. Outside, ball one. Shaw pitched a scoreless 8th. He's been more effective on the balance of the year than the closer, Allen. So he'll get a second inning of work here. Breaking ball, 2-0.
Good hitters count right now. Trevor can sit on a pitch.
Middle of the Twins lineup, Plouffe, Hunter, and Rosario in the 9th.
There it was.
Yeah.
Trevor knew it.
Now 2-1. To right field. Chisenhall makes a sliding catch, one down.
You didn't know if that ball was going to die or not, but Chisenhall stayed with it. Nice running sliding catch right there.
Another guy who's been so good against the Indians this year, breaking ball over the inner half, and Trevor shot it to the opposite field. Nice enough catch by Chisenhall. Here's Hunter. 2 more hits tonight, 2 runs scored, 2 runs batted in. And the Twins need a pick-me-up from the veteran. That's hit to right. Chisenhall going back to the wall, and it's gone. How's that for a pick-me-up?
Well, Torrey Hunter had such a great series here the first time around Twins came here, and now he gets up a big hit. We both kind of sense that. I know that you just said a pick-me-up, and Torrey shoots it out to right field. That pitch was away, and he shot it that way. And you talked about it early in the game that over the last couple of years with Detroit, you saw him go to right field more than he did in his youth with the Twins, and there he shows why he can still do that.
Well, the Twins back in front now, 10-9, and Eddie Rosario will bat.
That'll get up Glenn Perkins in the bullpen, I'm sure.
Just off the outside corner. Looked like it was the same approach that Trevor Plouffe used. It's just
he squared it up.
Yep.
It's basically the lift and separate swing, but he got it.
1-1 to Rosario. Shaw, just the 5th home run he's allowed this year.
And Perkins is quickly getting loose out in the Twins pen.
Off the knuckles, and Rosario lifts it foul into the seats.
I see Cody Allen, their closer, has been thrown a little bit. I'm not sure how Terry Francona would use him now unless they extend it, or Shaw gets in a lot of trouble.
Right. That's driven to right center field and deep. Rosario lifts one up, and that ball's off the glove. Rosario rounding second. He's already got 1 triple tonight, and he's got another one. This one a stand-up triple, and it nearly cleared the fence.
Well, he hits it in the gap right off the top of the wall, and you could tell that he was going to easily get into third base. The question at the time was whether it was going to clear the fence. I kind of thought it was going to have the carry to do so, like you.
Hit it off the end of the bat. I mean, that's how powerful he is.
So Terry Francona is going to come out and make a pitching change. He'll go to his closer, Cody Allen.
Runner at third, 1 out. The Twins are back in front, trying to increase the late inning lead to 2. Rosario with a pair of triples in the ball game, and for Rosario, he's got 8 3-baggers on the year. Field. 3 more hits tonight, including a big home run in the 9th inning to put the Twins in front. Rosario backed it up with a near home run, his 2nd triple of the night. And Glenn Perkins starting to get loose down in the Twins bullpen. Allen will come in and try to strand Rosario at third with 1 out. See, Allen's numbers not particularly good. Does have 22 saves. And he will face Aaron Hicks here with the infield in. Hicks, chance to drive in another run. Rosario one shy of Tony Oliva's 1964 record for triples in a season, rookie season. Allen blew a save Wednesday. Indians are actually 1 out away from heading home with a winning road trip to the West Coast. Hicks takes a strike on the inside corner. Hicks with 3 hits tonight and a line out to center. One of his better nights at the plate. All the at bats coming from the left side of the plate. Swing and a miss, 0-2. Hicks singled in the 7th after falling behind 0-2. Allen, a strikeout pitcher, 67 of them in 43 2/3 innings. And Hicks got a piece to keep the at bat alive.
Aaron's showing that the fastball doesn't intimidate him as much as it did before. A year or two ago, you'd think that a good fastball and it was over for Aaron. He just couldn't catch up to it, especially up in the zone left-handed. But you already got a hit off a fastball from McAllister that was 95. And now, of course, Cody Allen, he can run it up there too.
0-2. Hicks strikes out. And there needs to be a throw to first, and that completes the strikeout. Hicks, again, facing one of the top strikeout pitchers in the game. But he's done such a good job of cutting back on those. We talk about his walks, and Aaron, that's a big part of his game, but now nearly 200 at bats and 37 strikeouts. And in this day and age, that's above average.
Well, especially for him, that's a lot better. It's a big improvement.
And now Suzuki. Twins with a 1-run lead, but a very important run at third.
Such an important run sitting there at third base. And Eddie Rosario. A bloop, a flare, anything. Wild pitch. Somehow get that run in.
Up high, ball 1. Indians will have their 3 veteran hitters due up in the 9th. Brantley, Santana, and Gomes. Strike called. One and one. Nice stop by Gomes. That ball landed 4 feet in front of the plate.
It went into his chest protector. He's holding his throat.
Suzuki, Suzuki's concerned about his fellow catcher. The ball got him right in the Adam's apple, it looked like.
You see that guard down below his chin or his face mask. Somehow that ball got under that guard and hit his throat and goes into his chest protector. That'd be a good one to run on, wouldn't it? I don't know as though I've ever seen that. See, that's why I keep going to baseball games. Every once in a while, I will see something I have never seen, and I don't think I've ever seen that.
It'd make for an interesting tag play at the plate if you couldn't get the ball.
Well, I wonder if you could put your glove over your neck and then dive on the guy. Belly flop.
2-1 to Suzuki, but it was a run-saving block. Rosario at third with 2 down. Popped up, short right field. Retreating is Ramirez. And it's Chisenhall with the catch. Torrey Hunter's opposite field home run will give Glenn Perkins a 1-run lead as we go to the bottom of the 9th. The oldest position player on the Twins has given the Twins a 10-9 lead as we go to the bottom of the ninth. And the oldest pitcher on the team is going to try to save it for the Twins. One of the reasons the Twins have struggled in the second half, Perkins has struggled. He's given up 12 earned runs this year, 7 of them since the All-Star break. And he's had 3 missed save opportunities and another loss along the way.
Yeah, Glenn has not pitched since the Twins were at home against the Mariners. 4 games in Toronto. He never had an appearance up there.
He'll face Brantley, Santana, and Gomes. First pitch up and in.
That might have hit him.
Brantley 3 for 11 against Perkins. And a strike. Now for a guy who's given up some runs and some home runs, Perkins hopes to have a good finish to the year. He was, in terms of save situations, perfect in the first half. Popped up, deep third. Escobar down the line and crossed the line. Escobar doesn't make the play. Nearing the tarp, he could not make the catch. It's 1-2.
Yeah, had he had 10 feet more to run without that tarp there, he'd have caught it easily. But just before he was going to catch the ball, he had to take a peek at how far he was away from that tarp, and that was all it took. See this last little peek? He looks down and he's not watching the ball right there. Good effort.
But another swing for Brantley. He's off the slider. So important to get Brantley because of who is in the on-deck circle, a guy who's absolutely owned Glenn Perkins.
Yeah, we'll be curious to see how he pitches Carlos Santana.
Hopefully with the bases empty. And a weak swing, strike 3. And Suzuki throws to first, 1 away. Now Santana. Carlos Santana has been retired twice by Perkins this year. But over the span of 2013 into 14, in a span of 5 at-bats, Santana hit 3 home runs against the Twins closer. Not just hits, home runs.
The overall numbers over 500, 6 for 11. So Perk has got to be careful with the guy that he's got to be aware of these numbers.
Oh, I assure you, Glenn's very aware.
Sometimes I wonder. Sometimes I think he thinks he can get out everybody that ever walked the planet.
1 strike to Santana.
And you have to have that mentality, but you also have to realize who can beat you. What's the guy at the plate that you don't want to beat you?
0-2. Gomes on deck. Fouled back. Perkins went upstairs at 95 and got a foul ball. Fouled back. A lot of inexperienced hitters in this Cleveland lineup tonight and for the rest of the season. But Perkins will face the 3 veteran guys, Brantley, Santana, and Gomes. He's already gotten Brantley.
Now he's going to have to earn this save, facing the heart of their lineup.
In the dirt, 1-2. Check swing. Did he go? No, says first base umpire Mike Everett. And the count is 2-2.
It looked to me like he went here. We're going to see the side swing.
Nope.
No, he did not.
2-2. And now 3-2 with another breaking ball taken by Santana. And Santana will take a walk. He's taken 2 of them already tonight. Another breaking ball, hooked foul. Walker. And Santana's aboard for Yan Gomes. Another night game tomorrow. And our CenturyLink once next. Irvin Santana will go against Trevor Bauer. 5:30 start on Fox Sports North with the pregame show. Here is Yan Gomes. Turned the game around back in the 4th inning with a 3-run home run. The Indians were down by a run. He put them up by 2. They haven't scored since. Gomes also singled in the 7th. Gomes 1 for 5 against Perkins. Just off the plate, ball 1.
Well, that's the home run that he hit. And that was off A.J. Ockford.
Swing and a foul, 1-1. Gomes has hit into 6 double plays, but Perkins more of a fly ball pitcher. Fly ball strikeout pitcher. Inside, 2-1. Perkins got ahead of Santana, but then lost him to a walk. And the walk just the 7th issued this year by Perkins. 2-1. Now 2-2. Ryan Rayburn is on deck. Struck him out. A fastball for a swinging strike 3, 2 down. Rayburn doesn't have much good history against Perkins, but he's a right-handed batter. And Ronnie Chisenhall is.
Yeah, it's kind of a curious pinch hit here. Chisenhall is 1 for 1, excuse me, 2 for 4, batting .500 off of Perkins, and Ryan Rayburn is only 2 for 18, a 111 batting average. So
this is the ultimate going against the
grain and saying he's due.
Chisenhall hitting .250 against left-handers. Here's Rayburn. Rolled through the hole on the right side. Santana will hold up at second base. Rayburn just stuck the bat out, rolled it through the right side. And the pinch runner advancing to second base, Aviles. So the tying run at second, 2 down. And Jerry Sands.
Well, another fastball that's left up and over the plate, and Rayburn just went with the pitch.
Sands 0 for 4 tonight. Fouled back, 1 strike. .42 at bats for the Indians. Fouled back again at 94.
Well, now Glenn needs to make a good pitch. He's ahead in the count. He can get him to try to chase out of the zone. You do not want to give him a cookie and make a mistake here. You've got to pitch it, and if you miss off the plate down.
Breaking ball got him looking. And Perkins picks up 3 strikeouts in a save in the 9th inning. A walk and a single, another threat. But the Twins prevailed on the Hunter home run of the 9th.
Last pitch of the game just locked him up with a breaking ball that kind of backdoored him. And he picks up his 3rd strikeout and 1st save in a while.
Tom Hanneman, it was perhaps the ugliest win of the year, but maybe the most necessary win of the year.